by the way, I would really appreciate it if you look down below here and click on that turn on your notifications button. That way you will know when I have something to offer you. So here we're going to take a look at the month of December in a way that is a little different than what we've been doing for the past, I don't know, what is it, 2 or 3 years or so forth. I thought it'd be nice to step out from behind the camera and so forth and work with you directly. So look, here is the month of December. It's got a Sag rising, it's got Aquarius moon, and of course the Sag rising. So when you really look at this chart just cursively like this, all of these things are on this side of the chart. So this has to do with what is really necessary for us to move forward this month. And at the highest level, the planet most elevated is Mars in Scorpio, and the lowest one, of course, is the Neptune in Pisces. So the desire for us to really have something to believe in here, we have to believe in the process that this month represents. Now, the other thing to pay close attention to, which I outlined in darker form, is this thing here. This is called, now I don't like this term, it's called finger of God, okay? Other word for it is yod. But what is happening is that there is a sextile, a productive relationship between the sun and the moon. The moon is in a position where the sun is saying we need some positive, and the moon says change, right? So the focus of that change is on this thing called the north node of the moon, and it's in Cancer up there, moving out of the place of weakness into a place of strength, from the 8th house to the 7th house, which is the legal house. So fundamentally, Cancer represents the people of any given country. So every individual, in one way or another, for the rest of this month of December, you're going to feel that we have got to be responsible for what is going on in our country, whether it's on a personal level, where you're just basically dealing with your own personal things that are a result of all that. So let's move to a bit of another point of view, because I also want in the end of the month to show you this eclipse in December of this year. Okay, so we take this off, and we're going to replace it with this one, which is a combination. Carefully, what we're doing here is we have the month of December in the middle. That wheel is the month of December. And what we have in the outer wheel here is the eclipse that's taking place December 26th of this year. So here we got that eclipse taking place at 4 degrees 6 minutes of Capricorn, and it's just about right on the cusp of the second house of the chart for the month. So when it comes to the idea of the second house, you're talking about what is necessary, what resources, what kind of fuel do we need to be able to stay on this path of Sagittarius, or finding something about higher, more positive or real truth to what is going on in our lives. So what's important is that we have to understand a reference here to 9/11. Why would I bring up 9/11 now at this eclipse? Well, this eclipse is on a cycle of 18.6 years. You go back 18.6 years, you get September 11th, thereabouts, and these things are never exact because when an eclipse happens, what it's talking about is already over. September 11th, this eclipse is the end of 18 and a half years of our social, political, and personal freedom restrictions, and now we have to make a decision as to whether we want to go and do more of that or not. So that's the kind of pressure that each individual, you and I, are going to be under this month. So please pay attention to where the pressure is coming from. Don't mistake it for some smaller personal kind of things that may be going on in your relationships. Okay, so now I want you to take a look and listen to the signs of the zodiac, Aries through Pisces, so that you get some idea in a very simple way of what your issue is this month. All of us have all 12 signs. They're just all arranged a little differently. So anywhere you find Aries in your chart, or Taurus or Gemini, you should listen to those as well. But at least if you know your moon and rising signs, then listen to those. But remember, it's not about you alone. It's about humanity and the fundamental need for transforming our, or humanity's, relationship to the planet in order to avoid extinction. Yeah, it's that serious. Aries, career issues resound, requiring a reordering of your personal, economic, and spiritual priorities. Taurus, transformation and renewal of your faith in your abilities requires rising above past injuries and difficulties. Gemini, your inner search is challenged by feelings of emotional hunger and the need to renew your self-confidence. Cancer, personal challenges stimulate an inner revival of strength and positivity, all of which promise greater achievements. Leo, creativity demands rebuilding your inner life and overcoming insecurities about love and being appreciated. Virgo, negativity in your community points toward moving to a new location where you can achieve greater independence. Libra, stop saying only what you think others want to hear, despite your discomfort about what their response might be. Scorpio, transforming your relationship demands honest assessments and game-changing reductions of hidden anger. Sagittarius, truth does not require anger, just a persistent voice that seeks to point out a positive sense of direction. Capricorn, finding fault in others helps you revive your own sense of integrity, but creates challenges in all of your relationships. Aquarius, elimination of prior advantage drives a desire for change, while confusion demands believing in new beginnings. Pisces, personal confusion leads to a very sudden realization that only faith in yourself can revive your dreams of success. So now I want to take a look at December in relationship to President Donald J. Trump. The thing about it is you have to go back to the eclipse this December and how it's 18 and a half years ago since we had 9/11. If you want to know where Donald Trump came from and the kind of politicians that are supporting him, then go back to that 9/11 moment where, out of great patriotism, we decided to cut our freedoms and our liberties and our responsibilities to protect ourselves. That's where Donald Trump came from, an opportunist, and here we have it. Now, the situation, if you recall, about the yod that was in the chart for the month of December, it was pointing directly to the North Node being on Donald Trump's Mercury. So the whole function of Mercury is to be able to somehow or other connect. In this case, it's in Cancer. Cancer has to do with the country, because the country is a Cancer. It was born in the month of Cancer. And it also represents the idea of independence. And when it comes to Donald Trump's idea of being independent and above the law and able to do whatever he wants, the real challenge here is that, no, he can't do that. And this house, the 11th house, represents the Congress, because the 9th house represents the Supreme Court, the 10th house represents the executive branch, and this house here represents the whole idea of the Congress. So I am saying to you that we're going to have to look at the potential for 2020. There are 5, perhaps even if you want to count December, 6 eclipses that makes January and the whole year of 2020 a point of no return. We either save our democracy, and this implies also all other countries in the world. Everybody, all of us as people, need to look at the fact that around the world, governments are pulling back and becoming more austere, becoming more authoritarian, and this is our opportunity, if you will, to change all of that. Thanks for watching. See you next year.